I noticed that one of my most popular videos now is the one about turning 40 and embracing the second half of life. And so that told me something. It told me that there are a lot of people out there that are asking the same questions that I was then. And at that time in my life, there was no one giving any answers. I couldn't find anyone that I could trust or rely on to tell me the real truth. And I could have used advice from an older, wiser, more experienced version of myself. And so that's what I'm here today to tell you, so that you get a chance of having the second half of your life turn out in the greatest way possible for you. And if you're open to it, this could dramatically change the second half of your life. Believe me, mine has changed dramatically. And at the end, I'm going to answer 3 questions that men from my men's group around the age of 40 have asked me. So stick around, stay tuned, let's dig in. So quite simply, when I turned 40, my life was empty. It was empty in the sense of I have no idea what I want. Nothing that I see around me motivates me, and I feel completely lost. By then, I had burned through and sabotaged all of the businesses that I had built, pushed people away, isolated myself. I knew what I didn't want, which was, the money, the success, the fame, the growth, the constant working to do all these things. And the worst part was, I had no alternative vision for the future. And that was the real problem. And so that was like the real rock bottom for me. And the only thing that really just kept me afloat was the fact that I was a father, a single dad, and that I had to raise my son. Otherwise, I had no real reason to live. And I didn't care. And so my days just blurred together, waking up tired and then going to bed at night feeling just exhausted and hopeless. I'd fill the hours with busy work, the internet, TV, drinking, partying, drugs, new short-term relationships, anything to avoid that emptiness and that lack of real meaning and passion in my life. But the truth was waiting for me. I just didn't know how to get to it or how to face it. I was clueless, like no emotional intelligence, no self-awareness. I didn't understand why I kept sabotaging my life. And underneath it all, I really just couldn't answer the basics. Who am I? What are my core values? What do I really want out of life? And what I know now is that when you don't know those answers, then life just drains you. It's like you're running on fumes and without a compass. But when you do know who you are at a deeper level, you do know your core values, then everything changes. Life starts to feel energizing instead of exhausting. You make choices that fuel you instead of depleting you. And really, you just stop chasing things that you never really wanted in the first place, but that society tells us that we want and that we need in our lives to be happy. But at 40, I was still telling myself, oh, just start a new business. Just start a new relationship. Just move to another city and that'll reinvigorate you. But these are all just shallow things that don't get to, as they say, the heart of the matter. And so I did these things, but no matter what I changed out there, I kept running into the same version of myself inside. Same reactions, same lack of motivation, same self-destruct mode when I got to a certain level. And I guess most men are not like me in the sense that I destroy things if they don't make me happy. Most men suffer from a level of quiet desperation where you just go through the motions, you do the job because it makes the money, and you just lack a certain level of energy for life in general, and you just sort of suffer through it with no real hope of it ever changing. And so all this led me to the first brutal truth. You need to know who you are. You can't find meaning or fulfillment or purpose or happiness until you know who you really are deep down. And I mean like beyond your job titles and your hobbies and that sort of thing. And I had no idea. I couldn't tell you what my core values were. I couldn't tell you what really lit me up inside. I couldn't even tell you what kind of man I wanted to be. And so when you don't know yourself at that level, you can't trust yourself. You can't trust the decisions you make. Every choice is just like a guess. And of course, I kept guessing wrong over and over. And so for me, when I thought about, knowing yourself, that's like, I'm an entrepreneur. I like designing. I like snowboarding. I like pizza. But that's really just more like a dating profile. That's not the deeper you. The deeper you is asking yourself, who am I really when you take all of this away? What makes me tick? What really energizes me? What really makes me angry? Why do I react when things don't go my way? And most of the answers are buried deep inside us, and they're very difficult to really pull out under the layers of societal expectations. And so that led me to the second truth. You can't do it alone. You think you can, you want to, it feels safer, no one sees you fail, no one judges you, but isolation, that's where the bad habits grow, and this lone wolf syndrome literally turns you into the Unabomber. And therapy really wasn't the answer for me either. I could talk forever, but that didn't change my life. That gave me momentary, short-term relief. What I really needed was people who saw me clearly and who could see my blind spots and call me out on them. People who would hold me accountable and actually support me when I stumbled as well. The help that I needed was community, but not just any community. And for me, that was a men's group. The one I joined was called the Arca Brotherhood, and I'll talk more about that later. But it was a place where I could vent my anger, my frustration, my hopeless feelings, and have people hear it and not judge me, but hold me accountable for those thoughts and how they were affecting my life. A place where brutal honesty wasn't a threat, but it was actually a tool. And where we learned other tools on how to deal with emotions and things that were holding us back from what we really wanted in life. And for me, it just stabilized me. It kept me from going off the rails, which is what I did a lot of times because I lacked emotional intelligence. And more than anything, it surrounded me with men who wanted what I wanted, which was a better life. They didn't fix me, they didn't coddle me, but they held me accountable, helped show me my blind spots, and showed me camaraderie. It was like we were a team, and the ultimate championship goal was to get each one of us a better life. And so, knowing yourself, not doing it alone. These aren't just like motivational phrases or hacks or anything like that. This is like foundational to what has changed my life in the second half of it to a great life, a life that I truly appreciate and where I truly get a sense of meaning and purpose and happiness. So if you feel stuck, if your future feels like it's a blank, then start there. Know yourself, don't do it alone. Everything else flows from there. And if you want help finding that community, those tools, then you can just contact me in the email and description and we can chat. Now, here are 3 questions that men in their 40s have asked me. And the first one is, should I play it safe or take a risk career-wise? And my answer to this is, I'd say 1, it depends on you. It depends on whether you have a family to support. It depends on your capability of dealing with risk. Number 2 really is, you can play it safe and comfortable. You are still going to experience pain in your life, but it's going to be negative pain. It's not going to get you anywhere But when you take risk and you challenge yourself, the positive of that is that you grow. Pain that comes from moving forward, and that's a good thing. Number 2, what habits do you wish you started at 40? At 40, I wish I started the habit of reading, and specifically reading about emotional intelligence and how to deal with the emotions that I had that were sabotaging my life that I didn't even understand. So reading on psychology, there's some really good books out there. One is called Healing the Child Within. I'll put a link to it in the description. That was like a basic for understanding my emotional intelligence. From there, that habit would have been to constantly read and try and figure out, psychologically, what are the best ways that I can operate in my life to get the best results and get the best life that I want. Number 3, what are your biggest regrets? There's only one real regret that I have in my life, and that is that I didn't have the maturity to really steer my first big company, Modrobes, into a realm where it would give me what I wanted from business, the happiness that I wanted from business, the achievement, the success, but also that I couldn't mix that with happiness in life, because I loved that clothing company and I really believed in it. That's really the only one. Otherwise, all of the trials, all the tribulations, all of the struggle got me to here, and I love it. I don't have the financial success that I had before, but I don't really care about that. That's not what fills me with, passion every day when I get up. And I'm happy about that. So, thanks for coming all this way. If you like this content, please subscribe, please like, please share it with your friends. I'll keep making it, and until next time, have a good one.